Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are checking out the Knives Acuminal, and that's with the ultimate goal of finding out if this is worth adding to your collection or your daily carry. I did buy this knife with my own money, so I'd like to thank myself for sponsoring this video, and I will be keeping this knife after the video. This was designed and manufactured by Knives. And right out of the gate, you might think I'm zoomed in more than normal. I'm not. This is just a massive knife. This thing is freaking huge. Let's jump into it. So we have titanium scales, front and back. We have smooth texturing. And if you take a look, you can see we have a really nice hand-rubbed finish. Beautiful. We have blue anodized hardware, T8s for everything, blue anodized pivot collars, and then a really nice contrast with like this bead blast for both pivots and for the flipper tab. So it just kind of helps break up the gray. Pocket clip also has that hand rubbed finish on it. Love that. And then we have a deep carry milled titanium non-reversible pocket clip. We do have a lanyard hole, and we do have a partial backspacer, which, yes, also has that beautiful hand-rubbed finish on it. Now, as far as the ergos go, we have a fairly neutral handle, so, I mean, it's going to be comfortable and spacious. So I have large size glove hands, and I've got space over here and even a little more space up here. So I can choke back and still have a full 4-finger grip. And then I can choke up, and you can see how much space I have there. I could fit a whole nother pinky and a half back there. So it's really, really comfortable. You can definitely feel the weight in this knife. I mean, it's a big knife. I mean, you're talking just shy of 9 inches, right? But the cool thing is the balance point being as almost perfect as it is means that it doesn't feel like heavy, right? I mean, you can feel the heft, but you don't feel like you're walking around with like a Medford in your pocket. You know what I mean? So great job with the balance. And then we have zero jimping, which doesn't bother me at all, but I know it might bother some people. We have a very handsome hand-rubbed drop point blade. Let's see if we can get that hand-rubbed in the light there for you. We have a flat grind. This is Van X, super clean. And this is hardened, the HRC is 59 to 61. Now, with Van X, it's optimized 60 to 64. It's known for its toughness, edge retention, and it's super corrosion resistant. The only problem you'll have with this steel is that it's going to be kind of hard to sharpen, but that's because it holds an edge forever. So the longer something holds an edge, the harder it will be to sharpen. But 59 to 61, I mean, that's the standard for And, you know, this might sound like a hot take. It's really not. The difference between 59 and 60 is the same as the difference between 63 and 64, right? Like, it's not quite linear, but functionally it's linear, right? So yes, from 60 to 59, you're losing some of your attributes. From 64 to 63, you're still losing some of your attributes, right? Yeah, you're in that maximized range, but the difference between 64 and 63 is the same amount you're losing going from 60 to 59, right? It's not exponential. And I know some people like to say that, but it's not, I promise. I read the book. Anyway, as far as the detent goes, it's a pretty stiff detent. Like if you like a stronger detent, you're gonna like this knife. It's got one form of deployment, which I'm actually fine with because they did such a good job. You get a nice, satisfying thwack, and then a couple of shakes. And I'm being a little dramatic. I could shake it down a little bit faster, right? But it's not guillotine, which is a good thing because guillotine can cut your finger. And then it's just a super smooth close. As far as the acoustics, really satisfying on the close, really satisfying on the open. The acoustics on this knife are some of my favorite because it's got good acoustics throughout, is essentially what I'm saying. I'm saying it like the most complex way possible, but basically when blade goes up, sounds good. When blade goes down, sounds good. Lock bar access is easy, but it's a little stiff. Now it has broken in a little bit, but whenever I first got the knife, I actually almost sent it back because of how stiff the lock bar was. But it didn't take long. I mean, they give you some chamfering, they give you some jimps in there. So I mean, like the access itself is easy. Like you're gonna make contact with it, no problem. But then like just the amount of force it took to push it over was so frustrating. But now that it's broken in, it's perfectly fine. And this knife is not reversible pocket clip, but if you're a lefty, you can still manipulate it just fine. There we go. Now overall length, we're sitting at 8.98 inches with a blade length of 3.98 inches. So we're at that 79, or that, well, yeah, essentially 79% or 0.79 blade to handle ratio. And as you can see, very much inspired, I assume, I don't know for sure, but very much like Shiro inspired, right? Drop point blade, nearly 50-50 blade to handle ratio, all grayed out, right? Very clean, simple knife aesthetic. And then for weight, we're coming in at 4.49 ounces. Now we're going to do some size comparisons. We will start with the aluminum milled Civivi brazing, which is getting absolutely dwarfed by the Acuminal. We will also try the large Praxis, which is coming in closer. Let me straighten that out. But still getting dunked on by the Acuminal. And then let's go ahead and bring out the Real Steel Sylph. And not even close. So needless to say, the Acuminal is more than a full-size knife. It's not, it's not a machete, but it's a pretty hefty knife. Now, I want to talk about the price because I know Metal Complex did a review and he said the price was a lot, and it is. This thing, full price, is $374. That's a lot of money, right? Because for that same price, you can get some of Wii's integrals, like their Ator, their Enzita, or Enzita, and like they're solid, right? You can get integrals, and this is not an integral. To be honest, though, the more I look at Wii's pricing, the more I think they don't upcharge for integrals, right? Because it's like the best of the best that they offer comes in usually just shy of $400, regardless of if it's an integral or not. Like the Wii Zonda was, I think, a hair over $400, and that wasn't an integral either. You know what I'm saying? So I think they just flat out don't upcharge for them. Now, they do separate some of their special sauce knives from some of their more basic offerings. And I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. So we have the Acuminal, and then we've got the Wee Kite Fin. The Wee Kite Fin's a great knife. I love this knife. As a matter of fact, I took quite a bit of extra time to find it because they're limited edition. They sold out super quick, and I just couldn't catch a break. Could not find this sucker. Then I found it on Knife Swap. Thank God for Knife Swap. Or not Knife Swap, sorry, Blade Binge. And, I picked it up brand new in box. But this is not a Wee Special Sauce Edition. As a matter of fact, if you dumb down the blade steel to a 14C and you swap the titanium out for aluminum and kept everything the same, you could slap a Civivi logo on this and nobody would know the difference, right? Because this has just the same, it's like a Civivi with souped up materials, right? This isn't indicative of extreme precision construction, right? Now, when we look at the Acuminal, this absolutely is indicative of insane tolerances and construction. And the reason, don't get me wrong, 374 is a lot of money, but here's why I don't think this is overpriced. To me, whenever Wee puts in this much effort, they're competing with companies like CKF, right? If you look at the Sakosha, right? That knife isn't offering the base version. That knife isn't offering tremendously more than this one is, right? It's M398, which I don't believe is any more expensive than Vanax. It's a larger knife. Yeah, it's got carbon fiber inlays, but this has hand-rubbed finish from the blade all the way through the handle, right? Action-wise, they feel about the same. So to me, having this at 374 and having a CKF at 600, to me, that CKF seems like it might be overpriced, right? It might be too expensive. But to me, for this particular Wii and some of their other models like their Solid and their Ator, I think those are priced pretty appropriately considering the competition, because CKF, as far as I know, is also made in China. So if they're going to have similar quality, similar fit and finish, I don't see why a CKF should get away with a $600 Sakosha. And then Wii's called out for being too expensive on, say a knife like this. Now, this knife here was like $250. That's too much money for this knife, right? That knife should have been $199. $250 for this thing is crazy because there's nothing. It's a button lock, a small one at that. Like, it's a basic knife. There's nothing crazy going on. There we go. But for this, I don't think this is overpriced at all. I think it's priced appropriately. And I don't even have affiliate links. I don't get anything if you guys go down and click on it to buy it, right? So, I'm not getting paid to say this. This is my genuine feeling and belief, having handled several hundred knives and premiums and customs. That's what I genuinely feel about the Wee Knife Acuminal. Now, I will link White Mountain Knives because they still have them in stock, and you can use my code SEVER7, SEVR, and you can get 10% off of it. I don't get anything for that. It just lets White Mountain Knives know that I'm sending people his way if they decide to use my code and make a purchase of any kind, right? Which I would like to do because White Mountain Knives is awesome. So with the 10% off, you can get this knife for $336.60. At that price point, at $374, I think it's fair. At $336.60, I think it is I know we're only moving like $37, but I think it's a tremendous value. On top of that, you don't pay shipping and you don't have any taxes either. So, it really comes down to, does this knife speak to you? If it does, then for $336, worth. If it doesn't, then there's plenty of other things that you could spend your 336 on and be super happy with, right? So would I carry this knife? Absolutely. This knife speaks to me, right? I feel very good owning this knife. I feel good carrying it. I like to look at it. I like the finish and the accents. I enjoy this knife. My question is this something that you would carry? Does this have a spot in your collection? Whether it does or doesn't, let me know down in the comments. And if you want more videos like this, hit the like button. Please subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at SEVRSEVN. Once again, this will be linked down in the description. If you're going to buy it, I recommend doing White Mountain Knives just so you can save that extra, almost $40 on it. But I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the support. We need like 20 more subs to get back to 1,000. And once we get there, we're doing a fat giveaway. So if you're not subbed and you want free knives, go ahead and hit that sub button. And until the next time.